So the whole fight news right now, bro, is about the Margarito, man. I'd like to hear your input. And I know a lot of people want to hear your input about that whole situation.
Man, first of all, man, I would like to start with basically before I even get into the Margarito issue, I was just a little bit pissed off at ESPN because they continuously played all this negative news about Margarito, and they don't never have anything good to say positive in regards to boxing. So that kind of bothers me a little bit. But getting into the Margarito issue, the verdict is in, and he was wrong for, the illegal hand wraps, man.
Right.
It's just, you don't do things like that. So
now,
I'm very disappointed to hear it. It's definitely a black eye to the boxing community.
Now, I think everybody's. I'm especially disappointed in him. I think a lot of hardcore boxing fans are going to be disappointed. They're disappointed about the whole situation itself. There is a rumor though that Mexico had mentioned, hey, you're suspended here in the States, but you can fight over here in Mexico anytime you feel like it. Now, what do you think about all that?
Man, personally, I was looking at that. The mayor did say that he could come to Tijuana since he's always represented the country so well. But I think that he should take his punishment as a man. He should stand up, take his punishment. They say he's been suspended for a year. If he does go over to Tijuana and fight, he's just taking a smack in the face to everybody in the boxing community. He needs to stand up, take his punishment like a man. And, hey, he'll be back in a year, and we'll see what's up.
Absolutely. If Mexico does step in and say, hey, you know what, F what the United States says, the state commission says about you being on suspension, and he does fight over there, well, doesn't that raise the question, well, then any fighter can commit a crime and go over there anytime they feel like it, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Capetillo, at the conference, he had made a statement saying, I want to stand up and take responsibility and not damage this young man's career. When he left that quote, he stated that quote, I said, well, shit, take responsibility. You should have done that a long time ago, man, and not loaded this man's gloves in the beginning.
And another question that all of us have is, how long has Margarito been doing this?
Right.
Did he do it in the Miguel Cotto fight? Did he do it when he fought Paul the Punisher Williams? When he fought Joshua Clottey? These are all questions. I have a new respect for Williams and Clottey because they damn sure could take one hell of a punch if he loaded up for them guys. Now, of course, he'll probably deny that he did that, but we have to think about that. We have to wonder if he did use illegal hand wraps prior to the Mosley fight.
Absolutely, and you're right. If he did use them, now, I mean, the questioning was, how many times you use it. They stated only for the Mosley fight. Now, I don't believe that. Why would you use it for only a 5'9" Sugar Shane Mosley when your bigger threat would be a bigger man, 6'2" Paul Williams, right?
Yeah. And everybody knows that Paul Williams is dangerous. Everybody knows that Clottey is also dangerous.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, look at Clottey. Nobody even, they want to act like he doesn't even exist. So, of course, he's going to, he had to be thinking about these things when he started to fight Clottey and Williams. And Miguel Cotto, who at the time was, the man in the division.
He says he had no clue about it happening, his hands having some substance on it. I don't really play into that. What do you think?
Nah, that's bullshit. He knew about it, man. He knew that he was going in there with an advantage, and he was taking advantage of it. And as long as he was going to get away with it, he was going to take advantage of it. And that's why I said to myself, I'm going to wait till the verdict comes down before I start accusing him and all that. But
right.
Obviously he did something because he was suspended for a whole fucking year. Nobody gets suspended for a year for nothing. So he did something. He did some shit he knew he ain't had no business doing. The man has been in the fight game since he was a teenager.
Exactly.
He was a teenager. He knows what's up with the fucking hand wraps. That's some bullshit for him to say that he don't know what's, when he been fighting since he was fucking a teenager. He been fighting professionally since he was, I think, 16 or something. So
exactly.
Come on, man, that's some bullshit right there.
Absolutely. I mean, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he didn't know, which, like we've already stressed it, we don't believe that. But Come on, how could you not know that there's something in your glove? You've got to have that feeling. I mean, if this guy's been fighting since he was a little boy, right? You have to notice the difference when your gloves are not loaded and when they are loaded. You know what I mean?
You knew they was loaded, man, and that's fucked up because personally, you know, you got to go into already. These guys are taking a big risk, putting their lives on the line and everything. Absolutely. And you're going in there basically with some weapons. When you're going in there with your gloves loaded, that's like having some fucking weapons, man. You know, and to me, that's real fucked up. He putting men's lives in danger like that right there. So that's some cheating ass shit.
It is some cheating ass shit. You know, the other thing too though, man, I think I like to tackle is this. I've gotten a couple emails about some fans that go, you know, this is why no, this is the end for me. I'm not ever watching boxing again. Me personally, when I get an email like that, that tells me already you're not a hardcore fight fan, first off, because if you're going to allow just one black guy to turn you away from the sport that you supposedly truly love, then you're not a hardcore fan. Because let's not forget, and you said something too earlier about ESPN. You know, ESPN, first off, never covers boxing. They cover everything else, man, but they never focus into boxing. But when some bad shit happens in boxing, they're right there on top of it. They're the first ones that get their credentials passed in, so they get in front in line of everybody. They're in the top of the food chain when it comes to controversy, right? But let's remember this.
Same shit all fucking day, all day. They play the same shit. There's so many other things happening in boxing. You got Paul the Punisher Williams, who just signed to fight on Weekly Right. I ain't hear shit on that all day on fucking ESPN.
Exactly.
You know, and then you got these other networks, Spike TV, and all these other channels, and they want to cover wrestling and MMA and all this and that, but they don't ever want to do nothing for boxing. That's going a little bit off the subject, but that whole thing just pisses me off, man. Controversy has been in boxing since day fucking one. It's been there forever.
Absolutely.
Forever. This ain't nothing new in boxing.
It isn't nothing new, you know, and that's the thing that people got to understand is, listen, if you're a hardcore fan, you stick to it, to the ups and the downs of boxing. Remember WWE or whatever, that fake wrestling, whatever. Remember the guy, I don't remember his name, but the dude that went on a steroid rage, went and killed his wife and his little boy, and then the rumors were that he was juicing up the little boy. Well, if you let something like that, then there would be no WWE fans, right? The same thing with boxing, man. It's ridiculous when I get these emails saying, I'm done with boxing. Well, then you never started with boxing.
Yeah, you're talking about Chris Benoit, yeah. You know, all the sports have controversy. Look at baseball the other day, you know, with Alex Rodriguez and all the steroids and you know, but they cover other aspects, the positive aspects of those sports too. Whereas in boxing, they only want to stick to the bad shit that happens, and that's what makes me sick about the coverage that boxing is getting right now.
Absolutely, man. You know, there's another thing too, man, that I like to get across is this. You know, Antonio Margarito is obviously Mexican, from Tijuana, and you know, I got, especially me, you know, being Mexican American, get a lot of emails going like, you know, man, you know, Mexicans are just dirty. That's why I never trust a Mexican fighter when he goes into the ring. When I watch them, first off, man, let's remember this: there is not one race that has not committed a crime. There is not one fool in a race.
Oh, you're right, exactly.
You know,
exactly. People shouldn't look at this and stereotype all Mexicans because Margarito did something bad. That you don't have nothing to do with all the other fighters out there who are doing the right thing. So that's just him. He's just a bad apple in the bunch, man. You know, so focus on him. Focus on the man who did it. You know, every race has committed crimes, have cheated. You know, it shouldn't even be a race thing, man.
Absolutely.
You know, I get tired of these people hitting us up with these racist-ass comments, and really that's not even what our channels are about. We ain't here to promote blacks or Mexicans or Puerto Rican, whatever, man, whites. You know, that's not what we all about.
Right. This is a boxing. These are boxing shows. We promote boxing shows. It's a thing that we love to do. You know, we're not getting paid, obviously. It's something that we love, and we decided we wanted to share with the rest of the world. And we've been unfortunate for people to gel off of our vibe, right? Exactly. Now, I want to kind of go back into the old Paul Williams Kaladi. Man, now if the gloves were loaded, which I believe they had been, because I don't think you're gonna start with just Shane. That's just really hard to swallow. You know what I'm saying? Now, if there was loaded, that just explains to you why these two other guys are considered the most dangerous men in the welterweight division.
I mean, I would say at this time, Paul Williams. I don't know if he's coming back down to the welterweights,
right?
But you know, he was always the most avoided man when he was there. He had already sparred Margarito, and from what he says, he did a number on Margarito in the sparring session. And if there's any truth to that, which I don't see why he would lie about some shit like that, he said straight up, I did a number on Margarito in the sparring session.
Right.
So Margarito, knowing that shit, probably would have loaded his gloves for. I don't see why he wouldn't load his gloves for Paul the Punisher Williams or for Clottey, who nobody even wants to fucking fight.
Yeah, I mean,
it also makes me sick. That's a whole nother story right there.